I had a friend. We met through associates. He became a real close buddy of mine. We met around the age of 15 years old. And I'm telling this story because it's kind of like haunted me for years. I haven't seen my friend for quite some time now. I think the last time we were around each other was when I was, 20, 21 years old. So that was some years ago. But he told me this story about when he was younger. And it's a very sad story. But he told me about when he was younger how his mother used to favor his older brother more so than him. And how they had different fathers. They had different fathers. And she used to kind of treat him pretty bad. It was hard for him to tell me this story, what I'm about to tell you. It was hard, but he I, after a while knowing me, he entrusted in me, and I think it was good because he had to get it off his chest. Um, he was in foster home to foster home to foster home, and so he became attached to my family, which was good because my family was was a wholesome family. Well, I don't know about wholesome, but two parent family, siblings, big family. So he fitted right in. He came over every day. We hung out, this, that, and the other. So one day he decided to, tell me about something that was bothering him. That some things that he wanted to talk about that he, since the time those things were happening to him, he never really revealed it to anyone. And he had some issues, but through befriending me and my family, it helped him out a lot. Well, anyway, the story that he told me was that his mother first, his older brother's father was first, of course, her first birth. He was a nice guy, this, that, and the other. Anyway, whatever, he favored her. I mean, she favored him. So that's why she treated his older brother very nice because the experience that she had with with his father. But his father was no longer in her life or in his life. So she met another guy. He was an entertainer, and I'm not going to say his name or anything like that because he's a very popular entertainer um, from back in the day. And this guy is actually the father of my friend. And so he told me that his mother was really, really, really bent, out of shape, and sad and angry when they broke up, because they eventually broke up. And so basically, she treated him bad as a result. Now, because she of the fact that she was traumatized that his father, my friend's father, left her for whatever reason, I do not know. He didn't go into details. She started drinking heavily. And by her drinking heavily, because she wasn't really a heavy drinker, so I guess she was basically trying to drown out, because you have people that they go through things and then in life, and they try to um, either drown themselves out with alcohol or drugs or whatever crutch they can use to help them basically forget what they've been going through. But anyway, he told me that when his mom used to come home, I mean, he was a very young boy, very young. I'm not gonna reveal the age, but he was very young. And he said when his mom used to come home in the evenings after drinking and so forth, she would, abuse him, talk to him any type of way, physically, punish him in certain ways. And he said his brother never got that type of treatment. Now, he didn't hold that against his brother, but I could tell that when they got, I met his brother eventually, that he loved his brother, but at the same time, he used to slip jokes and certain things about his brother. I really didn't notice it until I got later on in life, after he and I hadn't seen each other for a while, and I got thinking about. But he had a very bad physical scar from the abuse of his mother. She had physically abused him so bad that it really damaged his body. So he had to end up getting surgery. And on one of his legs. When I met him, he revealed to me that one of his legs were actually, after he told me the story and he showed me, one of his legs eventually, because of the abuse, didn't grow right. So he had a leg that was shorter than the other. And he used to basically when he walked, he would walk on that other leg that was shorter than the other on his toes to make it seem like that one leg wasn't shorter than the other. But it was obvious because he had sort of like a hop to his walk, kind of. But I love that guy. I haven't seen him in years, and very close friend, very close. But we lost contact. But God protects babies and children, and babies and children. They said fools too, so maybe that's the case too, babies and fools. But his mom passed away. His mom, not long after his surgery. Children, you can't do certain things like that to children, because the ramification of the results of what might happen, because what goes around comes around. And then there's, these are children of God. My friend has some emotional scars, and I did see that. There were times when he had certain outbursts. He didn't care about any. And I used to I was kind of like his grounded him a little, because he would say anything out of his mouth and he felt somebody offended him, and he did not care. He did not care. He would, if a group of guys would come at, he would go into battle with them by himself. That's how he was. He just didn't care. So I don't know if that was a result of him not caring about what happens to him because of his emotional trauma that he was still dealing with. But all I can say is this: I'm just glad that I was there during that time of his life, because we stayed friends we stayed in contact from 15 all the way to 21 years old. And it was 7 years. This story weighed heavy on my heart, and again, I'm not going to mention his name or any personal information, but I just had to tell the story, because if there's anyone out there who has gone through certain things like this in their childhood, from foster home to foster home to foster home. I imagine it's got to have been rough for you. Imagine. Now, my friend had counseling. He was in constant counseling throughout his childhood. But what I'm saying is this: we as adults have to be very careful and be more selective in the type of people that we choose to come into our lives. And I'm talking about relationships now. You have some women that have multiple baby daddies. I'm not judging them or anything like that, but I'm just saying that you have to be careful, because when in your selections of who you choose, there's no guarantee that no one's going to leave you or break up from you. And this goes for men too, because both of these men left their children for whatever reason. And then both of them went from foster home to foster home to foster home, both of them, after their mom passed. But then the grandmother took over eventually, but she could only handle my friend. His grandmother took him over. She could only handle him but so much, because she was an older woman and he had emotional issues. So he wouldn't act right at times. My heart goes out to people who have gone through stuff like this or something similar through their childhood. And all I can say to people like that who have gone through it, because I have not, I've had the security and the shelter of a two-parent family and growing up in a nice environment. Went to good community, very well-to-do community. We weren't well-to-do. My dad had too many children. But we were average. Didn't want for nothing. Didn't worry about food being on the table, clothes on our back. New school clothes every year. But of course throughout the year a little bit too. But you know how like school years, you get more clothes. During the school year, you get the book supplies, the pens, and pencils and stuff like that. Not everyone had it like that. I just hope people who have gone through something like this, are like close to, or don't even have to be close to my friend's story, but they have their own traumas that they're dealing with, their own emotional scars. My heart goes out to you. And I can't tell you what you should be doing or not. I mean, of course, counseling. I've always said that. But again, my heart goes out to you. Just as it did my friend. It still does. He's a grown man now and more likely a grandfather. Such as myself. But parents, please be careful out there in your selection of your mate or who you decide to be with. Don't just do it for the physical thing, because there's a lot of things that come after that. And if you're not ready to be responsible for a child, then guys, protect yourself. Ladies, protect yourself. So, anyway, I don't know why I told this. I mean, I kind of like was going back and forth, debating whether I should tell this story or not, because it is personal, but again, at the same time, I just wanted to get this message out to people who have gone through similar things during their childhood. My heart goes out to you. Stay strong and get with somebody if you do get into a relationship. I hope you're with somebody who is understanding and who you can talk to. And that's really basically all I can say on this matter. Because it would be hypocritical of me to think that I could give advice on something like this. And I have not gone through it, but I have known someone who have. And if anyone out there have a friend that has gone through things like that, just be the best friend you possibly can. Be patient with them, because there might be some sudden outbursts or knee-jerk reactions and certain things that's still inside them that they still dealing with.